Why did you want to design the play?
So I think the thing I liked about the play is that I identified with this idea of the artist's journey. I certainly identified with Andy for many reasons. As far as the artist's journey goes, the idea that he's beginning his journey and although he's full of self-confidence, he is trying to figure out if he's an artist and declaring the fact that he's an artist. And I remember struggling with those ideas, and I still struggle with those ideas. For me, it was sort of like psychological therapy, reading the play and going through this guy's journey, which is a similar journey that I went on. And so I think that's why I liked the play the most, it had to do with that. I also identified with Andy's identity as a young gay man, and there's even a moment that Bones and Andy have together in the play that is the exact same moment I had with my father at one point when I came out to him. And I always still tear up at that moment. And then the other thing is that Andy describes it as a magical place, so who doesn't want to design a magical place? You know what I mean? To get to the idea, yeah. So I tried to make it a magical place, and a couple of things, like one is, it's not, it maybe, it looks photoreal, but it's really not. I mean, the gray is too blue, it's pumped up. The brown wood is pumped up with red. It's like a sort of hyper real in that sense. And there's an orange glow on the floor as well. So the colors are all sort of plus to become more magical, and make it a magic space. Plus, one of the great things about PRT is that it's such a high space that I could make, rather than, you usually go to the theater and you see these long sort of panorama vistas of things. Here I could make a square, and squares are magical. Geometry is magical. So by the fact that this is a square, it has a different feeling than a normal set when you go in to see it. And you can't do that very often. It's hard to do. So it's great that I could do that in this little space. I love this space.
It's a great space. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Which is the first thing that landed here in our open theater. It was the first piece.
So what's important that we recognize that the author has made this a basement, because the basement is an underground, and I think of these two guys as artistic seeds that have been planted underground that are germinating and are going to sprout to be artists, writer and painter. And when you look at the research from these bar basements in Pittsburgh, they all have this furnace, or many basements do. So the idea was to have as many things that were about a furnace that gave you the clue that you're in the basement, like all these, the ducting that goes up to the upstairs bar to keep it warm, and then I have the pipes that go up, and I always envisioned that I would find one at a junkyard or something, but
but you had to make it.
But then how would you deliver a 12 million ton furnace? So I made it out of it's a giant cardboard box covered with foam, basically.
And I can't tell you how many people have come up here trying to open it.
Yes, the doors don't open. Part of what makes the place magical is also the fact that there aren't walls, stage right and stage left. So another way I tried to make it not real was to make it a little fantastical by removing some of the reality, which would be the side walls in this, because have to have the back wall. Couldn't get away without it for reasons that are clear when you see the play. But I could get away with having side walls. So I instead used these as stand-ins for side walls, and then and that has the table that Andy climbs on at one point, and over here as its counterpart is this box, which is just made out of a block of foam with a cookie sheet on the top, and then made some stickers I put on it. And this is a spatula. This is a plastic spatula with the spatula part cut off. Yeah. So it's a basement of a bar, so basement of a bar means I have to have this is where he stores the liquor. It's described in the script as a place he goes to get more liquor to take up to the bar. So how do you get, 40 old period wooden liquor cases, whiskey cases? So the answer is you can't. So in my budget, so what I did was I just went to Home Depot. Can I give this away, the magic?
I don't know, should you? Should we keep it?
I guess we did it. So these are Home Depot boxes. And so they're just cardboard boxes, and the labels I found in my research, they're all period labels, and then I printed them out in a large format printer and then just adhered them to all these boxes to make them look like wooden liquor boxes.
Rich, thank you for taking us on this tour of Benino's. And come see Andy Warhol's Tomato, because then you can see the magical space that Rich created for the play, brilliantly written by Vince Malarkey.